do you get an SBA loan? Yes, you want an SBA loan. Here's why. Because SBA loans have higher loan amounts, longer term, lower interest rate, which means you can get a lot of money with a way less payment than what you get with most other kind of financing out there. Look, one of the first loans I ever got for this company was $75,000 and our payment was $9,000 a month. Then we got our first SBA loan and we got approved for $325,000 and our payment was about $4,600 a month. We got well over $250,000 more in funding and we kept our payment half of what it was when we got the smaller loan out. Why the heck did that happen? How did it happen? It happened because it's an SBA loan. Having a long-term and low interest rate, that combination means you can borrow a lot more money and have a way cheaper payment. And then you're able to use that increased amount of money and you're able to use that to be able to grow your business. Now you can get loans or credit lines from SBA and the qualification is pretty much the same and you're able to get approved for as much as $5 million in many cases. But if you're wanting just as much as $350K, that's pretty fast, easy money to get, even with SBA. I mean, typically you can secure a $350,000 loan or line with SBA in about 45 days or less. It'll definitely take longer the more money you're borrowing, especially as you get into the millions of dollars. But if your business revenue supports it, then go ahead and shoot for the moon and get as much money as you possibly can get. So what is needed to get an SBA loan? Well, I call it the 3 C's. Cash flow, credit, collateral. Let's dive into all 3 right now. First of all, they're going to want to look at your cash flow. And the cash flow is what determines the loan amount that you're going to get. Look, I talk to business owners all the time that want $1 million and yet they only do $300K in revenue. And then the question is like, look, even if you spent 5 years of every dime of revenue you had, you still would need even more than that to be able to pay off the loan. So you have to keep in mind that the loan amount you get is going to correlate with the amount of revenue and profit you're actually generating. This is why, even though you want to write off as much as you can on your tax returns should show some kind of profit because that's what SBA lenders are going to want to see to actually make sure that they give you the maximum amount of funding, right? They're not going to want to give a company that only makes $1,000 in profit $1 million loan, right? So we want to make sure that, first of all, we're going to need tax returns to support that revenue. They're going to ask for other things as well, but we're going to need at least 2 to 3 years worth of tax returns, and they're going to want to see sales are increasing on those tax returns. They're going to want to see that your business has profits. So if you haven't filed taxes yet for this year or for future years, you need to know that you want to have some kind of profit on those tax returns. Next, on the financial side, we need to have a bank account that's actually managed responsibly. We want to have a positive ending bank balance. We don't want to have non-sufficient funds. The more accounts we have open at our bank helps us. So if I have a checking, a savings, and a money market, that's better than actually just having a checking because there's like a bank rating score that banks use, and that's a better rating if you have more bank accounts with the banks. You want to make sure that you're managing that bank account responsibly. Profit and loss statements, balance sheets, those are things that are going to be asked for as well. Oftentimes they'll ask for the last year. Oftentimes they'll ask for the current quarter. So it's a good idea to have those together. Me, personally, on my desktop, I have a folder for loan documents. And every time I get an updated P&L or any of those things, tax returns, I put them in that folder. That way, whenever I need a loan, I have all the income documents I need, including my license, sitting in that folder. It's really easy to go through an application process. Okay, so beyond the cash flow side of things, the next thing they're going to look for is good credit. Personal and business. Look, if you look at SBA's website, they'll even tell you not even to apply for a loan if you don't have established business credit, because business credit is a factor in approval. SBA lenders are required to use the FICO SBSS score. So the FICO SBSS score is basically FICO's small business score, and it's heavily weighted towards business credit scores. As a matter of fact, you can't even qualify for most SBA loans if you don't have any business credit established. So you should have business credit established. That credit should reflect that your business is paying its bills on time or early. That's going to be one of the requirements to get an SBA loan. They're also going to want you to have good personal credit. Really, no negative derogatory items, maybe some medical collections, but you're not going to get approved if you have derogatories or late payments that are recent on major accounts, like bank credit cards, for example. So you want to make sure that you clean up your credit. SBA says on their website that you want to clean up any blemishes on your credit before you even apply. If they're referring to a blemish being a problem, you get an idea of the kind of credit requirements that we're actually looking for. Good established business credit, good established personal credit, they're going to be requirements to get most SBA loans. The other side of things is collateral. SBA requires a lender to basically take everything they can from the business in the form of collateral equal to the loan amount that's being borrowed. So if you're borrowing at $300,000, well, then you should have some kind of collateral for that $300,000. Now, the number one kind of collateral used for SBA loans is account receivables. It's where you let your customers pay you on terms over time. That AR can be used as collateral to get an SBA loan. It's the most common type of asset or collateral that usually is. But a lot of other things can work as well. It might be stocks, bonds, 401ks, might be IRAs on the personal side. Okay, on the business side, maybe it's inventory, maybe it's equipment, maybe the business has stocks and bonds. Maybe it's something else. Maybe the business has real estate. Maybe it has equipment, or excuse me, maybe it has equipment. Maybe it has real estate. Maybe it has both those. Maybe it has other things as well, like vehicles. So what assets does the business own? They're going to take that, and it better be equal to the loan amount. If it's not, they're going to start tapping into personal assets, your home, your stocks, your bonds, the personal side, whatever assets you have. They're going to be required, the lender, by SBA, take as much as they can take in collateral to cover the actual loan amount. So this is why SBA loans just don't work for newer businesses, because typically if you're just launching your business credit's not established, your personal credit's not good because you're an entrepreneur, it's probably bumped up and dinged and banged as you making the sacrifices you made to be an entrepreneur. You typically don't have assets or collateral in the early stages of your business either, and you typically don't have 2 or 3 years worth of tax returns until you're a business for 2 or 3 years. So SBA loans are not for new businesses. They're for established businesses where you've earned your right to be able to get the better terms. So make sure you rely on other kind of financing before you get here. If you want access to that, you can go to our guide at creditsuite.com/2727 to get our guide on 27 killer ways to get financing, many of which are not SBA and way easier to get than SBA loans. Okay, back to SBA. Cash flow, credit, collateral, that's what we're going to need. But they're going to do some other things as well. They're going to ask for a background check. They're going to ask for a resume. They're going to ask for you to mention any misdemeanors or felonies that you've had in the past. They're going to make sure you have experience in your industry. They're going to want your identification, your personal ID. They're also probably going to ask for personal financials, probably a personal financial statement, which is always a good idea to have. I just had to supply one for a lender yesterday. It's why I always keep an updated one in that folder on my desktop. And they're probably going to ask you for your personal tax returns as well. Don't be surprised if they even ask you for your personal bank statements. I know it's a lot, but look, it's worth it. The loans you get from SBA, the lines you get from SBA are phenomenal. They're just way harder to qualify for than most other kind of financing. So don't disregard business credit. Other kind of loans and credit lines that are way easier to get than SBA, but SBA is the finale. Once you get to SBA loans, you get this down. Even when you get your first one, it's way easier to be able to qualify for even more SBA loans to use to fund your business. So there you have it. That's exactly how you get an SBA loan. Oh, one more point. Most major banks offer SBA loans. You don't go to SBA to get an SBA loan. SBA guarantees the loan in case you default. They don't issue the loan. So most loans are issued by banks. If you need help along the way, you can definitely get in touch with Credit Suite. If you have a good relationship with your primary bank, you probably want to try them first. If you're an established business and you have a good relationship with your bank, go forward and see if they can help you with an SBA loan. If you get stuck along the way, hey, we're here to help. At Credit Suite, we don't charge you a dime of money to help you with getting financing. Don't get me wrong. Lenders charge points and rates, and we negotiate that for you. But we don't charge you any money directly from us to help you along the way with business credit and financing. So if we can help you, feel free to go to our link at creditsuite.com/get funding to get approved for SBA loans and many other different types of business financing, including loans and credit lines. Hey, did you get value from this training? If you did, make sure you like and subscribe to keep your eye out for our next training. We talk about more cool ways to get the money you need to start and grow your business.